What if the most dangerous move in raising Kanan isn't a gunshot, but a decision made in silence? Season 5 doesn't come back with explosions. It comes back with tension, secrets, and a warning. Because in episode 1, the war has already started, and most people don't even see it yet. Season 5, episode 1 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, doesn't rush to impress. Instead, it slows things down, and that's exactly what makes it scary. From the first few scenes, the episode makes one thing clear: the rules have changed. Nobody is moving without thinking, and nobody is safe just because they're family. The episode opens with a heavy mood. There's no feeling of victory left over from last season. What we see instead is damage, emotional damage. Trust is thin, and every conversation feels like it has something hidden under it. This is not the same world we left behind in season 4. This is a colder one. Kanan, especially, feels different. He's quieter now, he listens more than he talks. And when he does speak, his words feel measured, like he already knows where things are heading. The show doesn't tell us outright that Kanan has changed. It shows us through his body language, his silence, and the way he watches people. This version of Kanan isn't reacting anymore. He's learning how to move with purpose. At the same time, Rak no longer feels untouchable. In earlier seasons, Rak controlled every room she walked into. Here, that control feels shaky. People still fear her, but fear alone isn't enough anymore. You can see it in how others speak to her, and sometimes how they don't. The power she once held tightly is starting to slip. And she knows it. What makes this episode powerful is how little actually happens on the surface. There are no big shootouts, no loud moments. But every scene feels like a setup. Like everyone is placing their pieces on the board. Small looks carry meaning. Pauses feel intentional. Even silence feels loud. Season 5, episode 1 is doing something important. It's not trying to shock the audience. It's trying to warn them. This season is about consequences, about choices that can't be undone. And by the end of this first section of the episode, one truth becomes clear. The real danger isn't coming. It's already here. In Season 5, Episode 1, power doesn't change hands loudly. It moves quietly, almost unnoticed. That's what makes this episode smart. Instead of showing us who's in charge, it lets us feel it through behavior, choices, and tension between characters. Kanan is at the center of this shift. The biggest sign of his growth isn't violence, it's restraint. He doesn't rush into situations anymore. When others speak, he listens. When problems appear, he doesn't panic. This is a huge change from earlier seasons, where Kanan acted first and thought later. Now he's starting to understand that real power comes from patience. There are moments where Kanan could react emotionally, but he doesn't, and those moments matter. They show that he's learning how the game really works. He's not trying to prove himself anymore. He's trying to survive and eventually control his future. This is the early shape of the man we know he will become. Rak, on the other hand, is fighting to hold on to power she once controlled easily. People still follow her, but they question her more now. Some of them don't say it out loud, but their hesitation says everything. Rak is used to commanding loyalty through strength and fear. In this episode, that method starts to fail her. You can see the pressure getting to her. Rak talks more, explains herself more, and that's not something she used to do. In the past, her word was final. Now, it sounds defensive. This doesn't make her weak. It makes her human. But in this world, showing cracks is dangerous. The supporting characters also play a big role in these power shifts. Some are testing boundaries, others are quietly choosing sides. Nobody is fully loyal anymore. They're loyal to what benefits them most. This episode makes it clear that alliances are temporary, and trust is expensive. Season 5, Episode 1 isn't about who has the most muscle. It's about who understands the moment they're in. Kanan is learning. Rak is resisting. And everyone else is watching closely, waiting to see who will fall first. Season 5, Episode 1 of Raising Kanan is packed with meaning, even when it looks quiet on the surface. This episode isn't just moving the story forward. It's telling us what this season is really about. And at its core, this episode is about change and the price that comes with it. One of the strongest themes in this episode is control. Every main character wants it, but nobody truly has it anymore. Rak wants control over her business, her family, and her reputation. Kanan wants control over his own life. The problem is, control always comes with consequences. The more they try to hold on to it, the more it slips away. Another key theme is silence. This episode uses silence as a weapon. Characters pause before speaking. Conversations end without answers. Important moments happen without words. These quiet spaces tell us more than dialogue ever could. Silence shows fear, doubt, and planning. It also shows that everyone is thinking more carefully now. Because one wrong move could be fatal, there's also a strong theme of legacy. Kanan is slowly stepping into a path that was shaped long before he understood it. He's starting to see how the choices of his mother have shaped his life. At the same time, Rak is realizing that her legacy might not be what she imagined. Everything she built could turn against her. The episode also uses visuals to push these ideas. Characters are often shown alone, even when they're surrounded by people. Rooms feel bigger, colder, and emptier. This reflects how isolated everyone is becoming. Even family doesn't feel safe anymore. Season 5, Episode 1 mirrors earlier seasons. In a smart way. We see familiar patterns, but the emotions are heavier. The stakes feel higher. It's like history is repeating itself, but with less innocence and more regret. This episode is quietly asking a big question. Can anyone escape who they're meant to become? Or are they just walking toward it step by step? By the time this episode ends, the answer doesn't feel hopeful. It feels inevitable. The ending of Season 5, Episode 1 doesn't end with chaos. It ends with certainty, and that's what makes it dangerous. Instead of giving us a loud cliffhanger, the episode closes with a moment that feels calm on the surface but heavy underneath. In the final scenes, everything slows down. Characters don't rush. Words are chosen carefully. And this is where the episode makes its real point. The choices being made here aren't emotional, they're calculated. Someone isn't reacting anymore. They're planning Kanan's position at. The end of the episode is especially important. He isn't celebrated, he isn't punished, he's observing. And that tells us a lot. This version of Kanan is no longer trying to fit into someone else's plan. He's starting to imagine one of his own. The ending shows us that he understands something crucial now. Survival isn't about strength. It's about timing. Rak's final moments feel different. There's a sense that she's being boxed in, even if she doesn't fully admit it yet. The walls are closing, not because of enemies outside, but because of the decisions she made over time. The ending suggests that her biggest threat might not be the streets. It might be her own family. What this ending really sets up is collision. Not just between rivals, but between blood. Season 5 is clearly heading toward a breaking point where loyalty and survival can't exist together. Someone will have to choose, and that choice will change everything. This ending isn't asking who will die next. It's asking who will cross a line they can't come back from. And once that line is crossed, there's no turning back. Season 5 doesn't promise chaos. It promises transformation. By the time Episode 1 fades out, one thing is clear. The story of Kanan Thomas isn't beginning anymore. It's hardening. And whatever he becomes next, the world around him helped create it.